Hi guys! Okay, so as I would have shared last week, we are beginning our Bible devotions. I am not sure what time you may have been looking at this, but I typically do my Bible studies early in the morning. Very few times I'll do it at night, but if it is, I feel as if I did not get enough time in, or perhaps the week is passing and I have not been able to find time to get my devotion in, I would do it in the evening. It's up to you to more or less figure out when is the best time for you to do Bible study, to set aside that time to pray and do your devotions. So, before we begin, you will need to have a few things. Let me make sure that I have the list. As you all can see, I have my laptop, and that is what I usually would use. I would use a laptop. I would type up whatever book I'm studying. I would do it in a Word document and lay out everything. And so the layout that I have on my laptop is what I'll be sharing with you guys. But if you don't have a laptop, you can of course use a journal. You can get a notebook. Make sure it's a notebook that you are going to set aside specifically for Bible study. A new notebook, not anything that you wrote anything else in. Okay, so this is going to be for your Bible study. Okay, or a nice journal that you have. And I hope that you guys would have picked out your prayer area and made it pretty, set it aside. In mine I have a blanket on the floor, as I would have shared, and all of my books, right? And if it is, you want to put stuff on the walls and just make the place look inspiring to help you really get into that mindset of spending time with God, then that would be great also. So of course, if it is you're using a notebook, you need to have a pen. You of course need to have your Bible, and that should be it. Alright, so let's begin. As we all know, we'll be starting with the book of James. And you would probably think that the first thing you should do is look at chapter 1. But for those of you all who have a study Bible, the best thing that you actually should do is start from the beginning of the book of James. Those Bibles that give an explanation before of what the book of James is about, or whatever book that you're about to study is about. So let's find out what the book of James is about. Introduction to the book of James. The letter of James is a practical and pastoral book. James's down-to-earth advice instructs believers on how to live wisely and with integrity. James tells Christians to endure whatever difficulties might come their way, and the knowledge that God will use their struggles to help them mature as Christians. I'm excited already. So many of us think that 2020 was a rough year, but who really knows what we're going to face in 2021? And so I think that this is actually a really good book to help us prepare our minds for whatever it is going to happen this year. So what I'd like for all of you all to do is, in your notebook, your journal, on your laptop, whatever it is, you're going to write out these headings. One is author, then you're going to write down the date. Next heading is audience. Next heading, purpose for writing, and then important notes. And what you are going to do for yourself is actually find out all of these things and what should be there. So who is the author? Who is the author of the book of James? What date was this book written? And of course this would be AD, or it wouldn't be BC, right? Who is the audience? Who is James writing to? And knowing who the author is writing to is always so very important, because we always tend to want to just apply that book to our lives and to ourselves and everything but it's so good to understand in what context that author is speaking. And so who is he speaking to? very, very important to know. Purpose for writing. And this one I'll help you out with. So his purpose for writing is to address the attitude of Christians in response to adversity and living with true wisdom from above, especially in matters concerning speech and wealth. Now, whatever Bible you might be using, I tend to use the ESV version. Your Bible may have something most likely very similar to this. You are free to, of course, write down what your Bible has, right? And then you're going to write down any other important information that you can find out about the book of James under important notes. So exciting. And really, that is how you should start your Bible studies. Start off by finding out about the author, finding out why the author was writing this, find out who he was writing to, and when it was written, because that will also help with the context of what is held within that particular book. That is it for today. That is just the beginning of our Bible study, guys, our Bible study process. That is just how you start. And so please stay tuned and be sure to tune in for our next video next week as we begin chapter 1.